Okay. Rav Shanan asked me to use the last 10 minutes to talk about Chanukah. And that's what I'm going to do. So first of all, I just want to mention that for the last 46 years, I live in a place called Mivo Modi'im. If you know your Jewish history, Modi'in is the place where the revolt against the Greeks began. It was the home of Mattatyahu and Yehuda Maccabee and all the 5 brothers, the sons of Mattatyahu. And this was the headquarters of the rebellion against the Greeks. So this is where I've lived for the last 46 years. And almost all of the cities or the villages in that area are named after some aspect of Chanukah. Near me is a village called Maccabim. There's a place called Lapid, which means a torch. That's the torch of Chanukah. There's the city of Modi'in. There's Modi'in Elite. There's Hashmonaim, the family of Mattatyahu and his sons. So I just wanted to mention that. When we make the blessings for Chanukah, we say 3 blessings the first night and 2 blessings the rest of the days. One of them is, I'm sure you know, She'asa nisim la'avotenu bayamim hahem b'zman hazeh. That God made miracles for us in those days at this time. So the simple understanding is, in those days, meaning approximately 2,165 years ago, we had the miracle of Chanukah. Bazman hazeh, at this time of the year, meaning in the month of Kislev on the 25th of Kislev. Other people, and I hope you're hearing this, other people read it differently. And they say, in those days, She'asa nisim la'avotenu, who made miracles for our forefathers. B'yamim, in those days, bazman hazeh, that God is still making miracles for us. Now, I want to mention something that you might almost be sick of hearing, and there's a reason for it, because it's been repeated so many times that people really don't pay attention to it all that much. But we can say categorically, the rebirth of the state of Israel 3 years after the Holocaust is nothing short of a complete and total miracle. And the fact that we were able to survive the wars in 1948, the Suez War in 56, the Six-Day War in 67, the Yom Kippur War in 73, and then in the last 20 years, there's been around 6 wars between Lebanon and Gaza. It is nothing short of a miracle that in 1948, there were 600,000 Jews gathered in Israel. And when we say the prayers of Chanukah, so we say that God saved us, the Giborim biyad Chalashim, that we defeated the strong ones in the hands of the weak ones, and Rabim biyad Matim, and the many in the hands of the few. I want you to think for 1 second. In 1947, 1 year before we became a state, and the United Nations had voted that Israel, there would be a partition. There would be a Jewish state and there would be an Arab state. At that point, there were less than 600,000 Jews in Israel. Israel was pitted against the entire Arab world. I'm sure you know a map, what that means. That means from Morocco through Iraq. The entire Muslim world, which is today, it's well over 1 billion people, all the way to Indonesia. The entire British Empire, and I'm sure you remember where it says the sun never sets on the British Empire. Well, a lot of things have changed since then, but Israel stood alone against the entire British Empire, the entire Muslim world, and the entire Arab world, with less than 600,000 people. And we were able to not only survive, but defeat them. At the time of the Maccabees, the Greek Empire was, at that point, was the greatest empire that had ever been on the face of the earth. There had never been an empire that had so much territory. And little tiny Judea, the 10 tribes had been taken away already. There was Judea left, fought against the Greek Empire, and miraculously survived. Unfortunately, today, in the world news, we've become the Goliath, and the Palestinians are the David. But if you still look at a map and you see little tiny Israel surrounded by too many enemies, it's still Goliath and David, but we are the David. And this is an amazing thing. I want to end with one idea. And I'm saying this because you're sitting in Toronto. I read the newspapers every day. I think you know very, very well that anti-Semitism has reared its head again everywhere. I was just reading about Toronto. Universities are a hotbed for anti-Semitism, anti-Israel. And we need Maccabees today. We need Maccabees who are not afraid to stand up for our belief that we have a right to not only our religion, but we have a right to live in Israel. So the holiday of Chanukah is not, oh, we're celebrating a miracle from a long time ago. What does it have to do with me? It has everything to do with you and me. It is our reality today. It is our absolute reality today. And I'm sure you understand what is going on in the world a bit, or a lot. And hopefully you're understanding what I'm saying. But I want to end with a question that everyone asks. The whole idea of the miracle of the light. They found this one cruse of oil, and it lasted for 8 days. And therefore, we light a Chanukiah with 8 lights. But everyone asks, well, the first day wasn't a miracle. They found oil. They had enough oil for the first day. So what's the miracle? And why didn't they just wait 1 week till they made enough oil to light the menorah? They came back into the temple. They cleansed it. Why didn't they just wait a week? And they could have made new oil and wouldn't have to depend on a miracle. So I'm going to say this very, very quickly. I already gave you the background. So in 1948, when the British were supposed to leave Israel, much of the world, because there was fighting that whole year, we're starting to second think in the United Nations, should we even allow this partition plan to happen? It's like a disaster what's happening. And David Ben Gurion, with the strength of his conviction, he convinced the powers that be in Israel, if we don't grab it now, the chance may never come again. And on the 5th of Iyar, they declared the state of Israel against all odds. No one expected Israel to survive. Against all odds, he pushed to go ahead. So this is very, very much like Mattityahu and Yehuda HaMaccabi, that Israel was falling. The Greeks were totally taking over, and they came to the same conclusion. If not now, when? If we don't fight back now, we might not get another chance. So when they went into the temple, they had that same headspace. Right now, we just cleansed the temple. We have one cruse of oil. We're not going to wait. Who knows what's going to happen a week from now? And you should just know that the war against the Greeks lasted for 25 years. And the whole miracle of the oil and the whole cleansing the temple only happened in the 3rd year. That was not the end of the war. And in fact, 4 of the 5 brothers died in various parts of the war. And only Shimon, of all of the 5 brothers, survived. And he finally reestablished Jewish sovereignty. So I just want to bless everyone to really understand the real situation of the Jewish people in the world today and of Israel in the world. And I bless all of you to really understand the miracle that is happening, and we all have a chance to be part of it. So I want to bless you that this Hanukkah, you really, really think about this, and that you stand up in whatever situation you are for your right to express yourself as a Jew and as a supporter of Israel. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a great Hanukkah. Thanks to Rabbi Sher, to Rav.
Thank you. Yeah, I know they call me Rabbi Scherer. I guess a bit more formal here than in Israel. And thank you, Rabbi Trugman, for adding to what we've learned in Sefer Bamidbar.